Hey everyone. So I wanted to make a video today about something personal and the ghosts that tap on my heater. I really wanted to open up a lot with everyone because I something occurred yesterday and it made me realize what was, I guess, moving along in this whole journey in itself. So let's start off with what happened. So everybody knows these air conditioner units, right? And I guess we can look outside because I have a neighbor who, not right now, but at night, it's on full blast all night long. Oop, there it is. And what's interesting about that is my neurological system. I can have this closed and lay down, and for some odd reason, if the neighbor on the opposite side of this wall upstairs has his on, and the one next to me, when all that energy, even the buzzing here, I tremor. So I have like involuntary shakes that has been escalating and escalating. Why? I really don't know. But all I can really assume is because I'm constantly acting on a high vibration. I'm a dance teacher, so that's just sort of kind of what I do is I produce energy, I amplify, the room's vibration. I do a lot of stuff, but I have to admit my history. Turn to the light. There we go. Excuse me. In the past, I was associated with very toxic people, and even like I think unintentionally, I conditioned myself to allow it because my mom did with my stepfather. So end of 2012 into 2013, that was like our awakening experience. And what happened was I fell in love with someone, and he wasn't a good person, but I saw the good in him. I saw his smile. I saw his inner child. I saw his soul. And sorry, I have a popcorn kernel. And so I thought it was part of our awakening journey to give and put our love invested into people who were less unfortunate. And unfortunately, I found myself trying to play hero with one of them and then trying to play lover with another. And the things that they were associated with, the list can go on. Like, it was just kind of really bad, but I didn't realize how bad it was. So I can only imagine if I were like the authorities from that time, trying to monitor the people who were associated with them, and I come up under the both of them. So in some essence, I have to start accepting that, my personal business is not personal and my privacy is not private. And I've always kind of felt like there were eyes watching. And so there's a lot of times where I do feel kind of embarrassed because here I am, like, trying to clean up my act because I'm becoming more enlightened and inspired to this journey. And I'm trying to be stronger in my walk of faith and really do this for God and kind of just find a way to finally get to the point of eliminating anything that's personal. Because this is just a garment and none of this matters, right? But unfortunately, we're human, and loneliness is probably the hardest energy I've ever had to try to get rid of. I'm a very lonely person. So yesterday, the air units were all on, and I was knocked out sleep, And literally at 12:30 a.m., wide awake, I'm woken up and racing heart. And I know what this is. There's times where all the energy from these devices, these things that in our room. So if I'm trying to sleep, obviously I can't. So for the last 3 years, as this has been building up, I've been trying to seek professional help and get treatment because I need treatment. I can't go on in a natural body dealing with this kind of situation. I keep saying it over and over. So yesterday, the panic disorder was at its highest capacity. Oh, why do they have to do that construction right now? So I'm even getting like feelings of it just talking about it. So I went to an emergency, and the doctor basically refused to give me anything because he's like, you should just go to a psychiatrist. And I'm like, but I did, and that psychiatrist, they canceled on me. They don't want me as their client. They refused to service me because they made a mistake with prescribing medication. They gave me a alpha blocker instead of a beta blocker. So I was getting my adrenal glands were cut off, but my hormone production was still going. If that makes any sense. So it's almost like your emotions were. Can you please go away? Your emotions were constantly up and down, but then your adrenaline was not being produced due to your emotions. So if I exercised, my adrenaline was being produced. But usually, as a human being, our hormone production has a cause and effect to our adrenal glands and our behavior and emotions. Anyway, so this doctor was basically being a jerk, and he dismissed me right away. He was just like, well, we can't do anything for you today, so okay, what else can we help you with? And I'm like, well, I had a rash. Well, it started with this pimple that I had the other day, and I didn't realize that was a fever blister. And this, I popped it the other day. I had to, it was bothering me. So I had a rash literally from here on my neck all the way down to my feet. I don't even know if I can, a lot of it has went away. Let's see if I can show you guys something. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's kind of bumpy. See, there's kind of bumps there. And it was all along my veins. There's one there, a big circle. That looks like a vein on my elbow, but it's not. That's actually from what was going. It was a horrible rash, and it just kept. It was all over my body. Right now, it's kind of gone. I'm even looking at my other arms, and yeah, it's gone here. But when I went to the doctor, he was just kind of like, okay, you're lying to us, you're wasting our time. And I'm just like, look, come on. So I had an anxiety attack. It went to level 100. I was restless. I was sitting here on the couch. And what I don't understand about this, and I don't know if anyone else experiences this, I just wish that somebody can sit with me or witness what goes on. So the heart palpitations start, and the room will go crazy. The TV would make a popping noise. The floor would make a cracking noise. The window would make a cracking noise. The bag would something would be in the bag and it would move. So it puts you in a psychosis because there's some neurological chemicals that are blocked in your mind to bring you to awareness that, oh, that's just that over there. It's not me. But then when the psychosis happens, you start associating yourself to all the sounds and frequency of what's going on around you. And I went into full panic. I paced myself for an hour. I felt like, oh, I'm disturbing everybody who can probably hear me. And then the rash came. And once the rash came, I just left. I walked to the beach, but I was scratching and it was hurting so bad. But now I realize from watching the NRV44 video that I put in the description box below, I was actually having a stigmatic experience. It was actually showing me about the new created disease that's going to surface here in California. And I witnessed it. I went through the whole process. It started with the veins, and it traveled along all the veins, and it multiplied in 4s, 5s, and 6s. It was just really, really, really disgusting. Anyways, so I went through that experience. That was one subject, and then the feeling of panic was another. So I was going through two things at one time. This is like why I try to keep videos frequent on my YouTube, because it shows the range of not just my human growth, but my spiritual growth. And I accuse myself of the past. I always, say, ugh, if I didn't involve myself with those people, if I didn't meddle with substances and alcohol and things like that, maybe I wouldn't be in this position now. But then if I didn't experience all of that, I wouldn't have had my vibration amplified to a highest. So everything in and on itself supports each other. It supports. Like, you have to raise your vibration some way, somehow. So it's just a matter of how you get there. So I thank my lucky stars that I have not been arrested or investigated, or, I'm just observed, and I'm tracked, and I'm traced. And I'm very much aware of that, because it doesn't matter where I go, I always have some type of authority floating over my head. And they started having drones lately. And the drones, I can spot them from a few miles away. But and that's the part that I burden myself, and I think that creates anxiety, is because I don't have a personal life at all. I don't. Everyone's all in my business. Everybody, from the clients I have at my job to this situation with my personal life. It's like I'm living a double life, because prior to the awakening experience, I was doing my own thing, okay? And then now after, I'm trying to figure out how to respect, my temple, but still have my human experience. And that's not working. Like, I even ran into an old friend yesterday, and we had a couple of shots, and then we went walking to the beach. It's sort of a cool old thing that I miss. But what happened was I jumped an old timeline and I caught it up. And what's happening, what I understand is, and I just started understanding this, it's not that I'm repeating a timeline, I'm walking through the same timeline over and over. It's like every circumstance that I'm frustrated about is the same thing. Same thing. Even down to a T, where I met someone on Saturday, and we were feeling each other's vibe. He talked about the soul and making Earth a better place, and so we switched numbers, and I got ghosted. It's the same storyline all the time, and it's sort of like, you get to a point where, how many more times am I going to go through this timeline? I already know the end result. I need to condition myself to just deal with being alone and by myself and entertain myself that way. But it's just, I have an issue. And I'm just opening this up because I really want to have resolution. What else did I want to share with everybody? I just thought it was a shame that the doctor totally dismissed me. My psychiatrist dismissed me. My own physician dismissed me. And they all think that you can do breathing techniques and writing things down, meditation, and yoga is going to help. Sometimes people need treatment because treatment will start to allow you to condition the mind to start the process of resolving something, cut it off. Cut it off and get rid of it so that therefore you don't have to rely on the conditioning anymore. And that's my own personal truth. But the more that I have to keep naturally, if you guys haven't had like a panic disorder, they're not cute. They're not cute at all. They can go from 6 to 20 hours. This one last night was about 5 hours. It started at midnight, 12:30, and more tapping. The spirits speak. And that's another thing too, when you're trying to have peace and calm and then you're getting these paranormal knocks. I'm not crazy, y'all. I'm sober, I promise. It just kind of sucks. I'm trying to find a way to integrate with it and be cool with it, but in some way, shape, or matter, I'm going to have a breakdown. I'm going to have a mental and emotional breakdown. I'm going to cry and feel sorry for myself because it's just been such a long time dealing and feeling this way and still trying to be happy and joyful and delightful when it comes to work or when it comes to being positive on my social media platforms. Like, it's not really me being positive. I'm trying to talk myself away from being negative. So, yeah, I even acquainted with someone on Friday, and I understood a lot, especially about this temple, right, that we have. And we were just talking at the beach, and we were well, he was holding my hand. I didn't really want to hold his hand. I wasn't really feeling him. But there was sense of humor, there was laughter, and there was his interest. And so I thought, okay, I'll just entertain going to the beach, and we'll talk. As I was holding his forearm where my beads are, he's like, "Oh, your hands are so warm." Keep squeezing my hand because I have heating pads for my wrists. He has like nerve damage in his hands. And then in my mind, I'm like, I'm Reikiing him because that's what I do, Reiki healing. I do energy transfer. So I already knew. I'm like, this isn't, him feeling good about me as a person. This is him like being captivated by, the Reiki. Excuse me. That was not a download hiccup. That was acid reflex. I started becoming a little more discouraged about that. That this isn't someone who is. He thinks it's all about me, but it's not. I know what it is. It's about the energy. And a lot of times when people meet me, they fall in love with the energy. They're falling in love with the remnants, but not the vessel who holds the remnants. Same thing when it comes to being home and I get the feelings of panic and anxiety. I know that there are presences beyond what we can see, and they are lingering. And I think in my past, when I dwelled and put myself in a sedated, state of feeling and emotion, I would pick up on those things and I would panic all the time. So finally, I think when it came to 2014, 15, early 16, end of 2017, I was in a downward spiral. And then last year, I was okay. This year, a couple speed humps. Not as bad. Not what you guys think. I'll explain this here in a second. Every time that I would go through and back in these timelines, I was basically purging someone else, cleansing for someone else, going through the hurt and affliction, the pain, the suffering for that person. I was doing this underworld work, and I was understanding that I was being used instrumentally to cleanse and purify these people. They were being called by the higher self. They were being called by God to step in new roles. It's part of a alternative awakening experience where Source was taking people like us and putting us in the perspective of good energy, attractive, or whatever you call it. These people were coming to us all the time to energy vampire us into being a more amplified being. So I kind of just let it slide. I kind of just said, if somebody wants to meet me for coffee, go on a date, or hook up, I'll just say yes because I know I'm doing this undercover work. And I don't talk about any of this stuff. I don't share anything with that person. They do it on their own. But at the end of the day, you just feel very saddened and discouraged and used from both sides. You're used from the above and you're used from the after. Adding on to my dreams and me not having enough sleep lately, what's interesting, my refrigerator is running, and look at my hand, or even the camera. So my body is responding to those things, and y'all, I'm gonna cry. I just want it over. Not my life, not my life. I want my life, but I'm tired of feeling like this. I'm really tired of feeling like this. And then to not know, is anyone else going through this feeling? That's the hard part. It would be nice to, maybe not nice to know if anyone else is going through this because we'll both be vibrating here on my couch. But I know that those are ascension symptoms, and the electromagnetic pulses hitting the neurological system is assisting the DNA and all that. But I'm getting so exhausted because I can't really tell you guys if I've had actual sleep or not for the last 3 years. Because every time that I close my eyes, it's either anxiety, astral projection, a vision, or stigmata. That's my secret. I'm fortunate that God chose me to do that. I just don't want it anymore. I don't know how. It's like all that has come on and brought itself into this current timeline. I'm nervous. I'm not afraid. I'm not scared. I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I was only able to handle each timeline at a time. And staying out of too much trouble. But then when all of these recently all collapse into one, I'm kind of nervous. Like, how much trouble is this going to cause me? So that's why I want to share the dirty laundry with everybody. That I don't appreciate when people do readings on me or trying to use psychic power against me. I'd rather just talk to you about it. I think there's not one perfect person in all the world. And even the powers that think they be, the powers that shouldn't be, they abuse their power so much. Our GOV, they abuse their power so much. So I can kind of understand somebody who, like myself, on a vibrational level, to understand that if you're walking the middle with foot on each side, no one bothers you because their evil is no greater than yours, or your darkness is no comparison to theirs. Or if you're a lost person and you still go into your 9 to 5, there's some kind of overseer that just makes sure that you. Don't quote me, but from what I understood was you kind of just are watched from afar, but then you're let alone. It doesn't say do what you want to do, but because they don't go away once they're on you. Then it translates to wave energy weaponry. Then it's energy integration, This is what I get every night when I go to bed. It feels like I just got it right now. It's like you, oh, even the drilling, it's making me like, it's bad, you guys. Like, I did not have this at this level 2 weeks ago. And it's nothing that I'm doing to my body that is causing me to respond this way. It is what's happening on the inside of my body due to the outside conditions. The UV, the gamma rays, the humidity, all of that stuff has a play too. But it's the megahertz and the frequency of these sounds where our bodies literally are their sound too, because the motion is, it's creating its own vibration, its own sound. Vibration is sound. I just wanted you guys to understand that, because you may be going through it and don't know how to explain it, or don't have a resource to confide in that, hey, I'm going through it too, and I hate it. And there goes a helicopter going to fly over my building. What's interesting is I do believe in gang stalking, which is basically your neighborhood watch. People who don't honor spiritualism, and they kind of alienate those who might stand out. And those who stand out are monitored 24 hours a day. It could be down to, this is why I switched to privacy settings off on my phone whenever I'm not doing my job. I don't really like to have the GPS remember everything I did. And it's not that I'm hiding anything. I don't deserve to have anybody who's not doing any good at all to begin with invading on my own private turf. It's only fair. It's not fair that people can control the law and break the rules when they want to, but then they want to interrogate on a millennial who has to work 2 full-time jobs to pay a third of his rent. I've tried the breathing, I've done the yoga, done the meditation. Nothing works. It's already gone too far and too long where I have not done anything to combat this. So I have to go with treatment for a temporary time. But the professionals that I relied on canceled, flake, didn't want to help. Even my own doctor, and shame on her, she can write anything, but she refuses to write anything in a particular classification because look at my skin color. You think people are going to prescribe me anything for distress and it's not depression, but antidepressants and all those the benzos are classified under one. Even the doctor today, he made me upset at the ER because I eventually had to go to the ER. I was pacing this apartment, not feeling too good. Sorry, this video was long, but long story short, the guy was dismissal very quickly, and I went off on him. I said, I've been dealing with this for 3 years. Even the psychiatrist and the therapist could not handle my case, did not want to handle my case. They backed off. So what am I supposed to do? Excuse me. So I've been trying to have some mental clarity and some closure, but each day that I go dance in my class, I'm just grateful I exercise and I'm surrounded by people who genuinely love me. And that is what kind of has been my savior, is knowing that people love me, knowing that people have a loyalty for the exchange of support that we have. I think that's why I've been able to be so strong, is because I know that there are people who honor the way that I love and respect them and support them, and vice versa. To the hand of the person who has no problems, you show me that you don't have a problem. Even Jesus himself was trying to show that there's imperfection in beauty, right? There's this whole life that we have, and there's nothing perfect about it. we watched him get sacrificed, and yeah, we watched the downplay of the most significant individual in all of history, who was basically trying to tell everybody, live for yourself, inspire yourself, and don't follow voices in your head. So, anyways, I feel like I got everything out. I do feel good now. I probably have some tears later on in the day. And this is something what I wanted to address it in a video earlier this week, but I just didn't have the energy to go there, and I didn't have the words of wisdom to follow through with it. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being supportive of me. I'm not in any kind of consequence now or any type of trouble. I'm just aware that, I put my words behind my face, and that's what I chose to do a year ago with this platform. And what I say, it does. It goes to a certain bucket of, authorities do gang stalk you. They do check on you to make sure you're not cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. Just a little cuckoo, but they don't want you to be over the top. A lot of the things that I get receive, the visions and whatnot, channeled messages, and I kind of put all that down because sometimes I can be on such another level with it that people wouldn't recollect what I'm saying because they would have to be open to that channel as well. What else do I want to share there? There's one thing that I forgot because I had to record this video 2 times already. Just stay encouraged, everyone. Realize the things around you. Watch your surroundings, but don't fear your surroundings. Embrace them. Integrate. Talk to them. My mom was telling me this morning, talk to your anxiety. And I'm like, hey, anxiety, fuck you. But this one was a whole different. This was a whole new person. I didn't know this anxiety personality at all. But I understand it now. It was stigmata, and I was having a panic attack at the same time, which was weird because when I left my apartment the first time, it was like 2 o'clock. I looked at the moon, and it was very rose pink, and it was the closest to the earth that I saw. And we're coming up on a full moon, so I can understand what we're going through. And that's why I'm always able to feel fine, at the end of the day when I'm going through these episodes. I know that they're all cosmic and they're all global. It's not discriminative towards you and me. It's everybody. Everyone should feel, if there's a group of people on one shift, they should feel it at the same time. I'll let you guys go. I guess I'll do a part 2 of this video. Surviving the shifts. But pray for me, you guys. I need your healing and prayers of continuing this journey and the ending of that old timeline. Because, well, you have to think, this is what I was going to say. I have to think how many people I have acquainted with that had that same timeline. So I have multiplied that one timeline. I can't even count to 300. So I've then put so many karmic cycles in this current timeline. And I know that when I have the anxiety and panic disorder, it's on the inner level of me grieving and suffering. And that's just it. It just sucks. What time is it? Cool, 1:09. I was going to go walk a friend and his dog. That's it, everybody. That's my truth. My truth is, I may not have started off as a good person, or I may not even be perceived as a righteous person, but I try to be the best that I can be every day, and I try to stay in tune with these messages. I've always committed to this, being a beacon of light, being a light worker. That is a full-time plus full-time plus full-time plus full-time. And I've never stopped that. I've never given it up. I've never failed it. I've never abandoned it. So if there's one thing to acknowledge about me is that I will always be here for you guys. I will always be here for your journey. And yeah, I don't expect anybody who follows me to be clean cut and, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather people be loose and hot, messy and sloppy, and that is their beauty, and that is their frequency, and that is how they amplify their vibration. That's really what I've been trying to aspire to be part of, but I missed my chance because I was always a public figure and always working. So, anyways, if you guys have anything you want to contribute and share with this dialogue, hit it in the description box below or the comments below. And thank you guys again for being so amazing and for being there. And yeah, keep these timelines coming. Take care, everyone.